This completely inverse relationship to Brexit, I mean, how long is it going to last for, do you think?
Well, what we've been seeing with Bitcoin generally is capital market investors are using it as a disaster hedge. We saw this in summer of last year with the Greek debt crisis. Bitcoin trading volume spiked and the price enjoyed a sustained rise. We also saw it late last year with fear of the Chinese devaluing the yuan. And we saw it with Brexit this year. As the markets started to grow in tension around a Brexit leave vote, Bitcoin spiked from 450, it broke all the way through 700. But then as the markets started to price in a remain during the week, Bitcoin showed some softness all the way down to 550, and then it spiked again as Britain shocked the world and voted to leave. And so I think we will continue to see capital market users really turning to Bitcoin as a disaster hedge due to its low correlation of returns with other capital market assets.
But a disaster hedge for the long term, or more of a disaster play in the short term?
Well, so capital market users are using it, the traders are using it in the short term. I think in the long term, when you look at Bitcoin's stellar absolute returns, you look at its dropping volatility, its superior Sharpe ratio, so better returns per unit of risk taken, it's been a great long-term asset. ARK actually invested in it late last year. We were the first public fund manager to do so, and we continue to offer the only ETFs with Bitcoin exposure, and it's gone 5x for us. So we really see this as a long-term play.
Just briefly, I mean, I think about Bitcoin as an asset class and a relatively new asset class as well. And if we are heading into an environment that becomes a lot tougher, one might assume that there'll be more regulation put on across the board, including on Bitcoin trade, and maybe even the viability of Bitcoin. Does that not scare you at this point?
So it's interesting, actually, because right now most of the trading volume goes through China, and in conversations I've had with U.S. regulators, and I've heard friends of mine have in the space with U.S. regulators, some people are actually upset that the U.S. is not taking the reins regarding Bitcoin. The U.K. has really progressive regulation around Bitcoin as well. And so I think as people realize this value that Bitcoin offers, I call it money over IP. Just as voice over IP revolutionized voice communication, Bitcoin as money over IP is revolutionizing the transfer of value. And so you're seeing a lot of people, even though Bitcoin got a bad rap early on, you're seeing a lot of people open up to its utility as a technology and an asset. And this is actually something that I covered in a recent white paper, exactly as you said, Bitcoin as a new asset class.